When you think of ancient Japan, what comes to mind? Probably serene gardens, right? Noble samurai, beautiful temples, delicate art. Well, in this explainer, we're going to peel back those gorgeous layers and look at the harsh reality underneath, the daily struggle for survival that was life for most people. So on one side, you've got the image we all know and love from movies and pictures. But the actual history, whoa, that tells a very different story. A story filled with non-stop hardship. That peaceful garden you're imagining, it might have just been flattened by an earthquake. And that noble samurai, well, his job wasn't always so honorable. You really have to ask yourself, is that beautiful image just hiding the relentless day-to-day struggle? So what was it really like for the average person just trying to make it to tomorrow? All right, first up, let's talk about the environment itself. The very thing that makes Japan so stunningly beautiful was also, frankly, a terrifying and relentless enemy. Look, natural disasters weren't some rare, once-in-a-lifetime thing. No way. They were a regular, devastating part of life. Take that 1498 earthquake. It set off a tsunami so massive, it literally washed away the entire temple that housed the great Buddha of Kamakura. These weren't just numbers on a chart. They were events that completely upended society over and over again. It's the personal accounts that really get you. Just 4 words. The sun rose gray. When Mount Fuji erupted in 1707, it covered the sky in ash for weeks, ruining crops for years and kicking off a massive famine. Just imagine waking up to a world where the sun is just gone. And it wasn't just Mother Nature. With cities built almost entirely of wood and paper, human accidents were catastrophic. The Great Mairiki Fire? It started because a priest accidentally set a kimono on fire. It burned for 3 days and killed over 100,000 people. The scale of that destruction is just, it's hard to even wrap your head around. Even your own home gave you no escape. Those famous paper walls, they offered basically zero insulation. And get this quote is from a samurai, a guy from the privileged class. If he's waking up with his hair literally frozen to his pillow, can you imagine how brutal the winter was for everyone else? There was just no escape from the cold. Okay, so if the environment wasn't trying to kill you, the rigid social structure was definitely there to grind you down. This was a world where you were born into a role, and that was that. There was almost no getting out. And the people in charge went to incredible lengths to keep it that way. This famous sword hunt wasn't just about stopping rebellions, it was about cementing the class system. By taking away every weapon from the farmers, the samurai made sure that farmers stayed farmers. No weapons meant no power to challenge authority or change your destiny. You know, the warrior class is often romanticized as these noble protectors, but they could also be a source of terrifying, random violence. Tsujigiri was a real thing. Think about that for a second. You could be walking home at night and get cut down by a samurai simply because he wanted to test out his new sword. Your life was literally a practice target. And this wasn't some myth or a rare occurrence. It got so bad, so common, that the government had to step in and make a law specifically forbidding it. That just shatters the whole honorable warrior myth and shows you the dangerous reality commoners faced. The economic pressure was just absolutely crushing. In some places, farmers had to hand over 70% of their harvest. Let that sink in. You spend all year growing the food to feed your family, and more than 2/3 of it is just taken. It left people in a constant state of near starvation. And personal freedom? Basically non-existent. You couldn't just decide to go visit family in the next village. You needed an official permit. Get caught without one, that could mean jail or forced labor. Even your clothes were policed, with laws that banned you from wearing silk or bright colors so you didn't look too joyful for his station. Just unbelievable. So all of this stuff, the disasters, the rigid society, it all boils down to the personal, physical, daily grind of just trying to stay alive. I mean, just look at this chart about food. The gap is insane. Things we think of as basic were pure fantasy for most people. Sugar, that was for royalty only. Meat, pretty much never, thanks to religious bans. And spices, a little bit of pepper could cost you a month's wages. Your diet was bland, repetitive, and there was never enough of it. And this constant fight for food was literally woven into the language. Eating clouds for dinner was a common way of saying you were going hungry. And when famines hit, People did desperate things, like grinding up tree bark to mix into their rice, just to make it feel like they were eating a real meal. And getting sick, that was a terrifying prospect for everybody, rich or poor. You've got an emperor who gets the measles, and the best cure they have is to chant sutras. He died. Then you have a peasant with a simple tooth infection, something we'd fix with antibiotics today. And for them, there was no cure at all. It was a death sentence. And you can forget our modern ideas about Japanese cleanliness. Back in the day, especially in earlier periods, bathing just wasn't a frequent thing. This quote is from a noble woman complaining about the men at court. So even among the elites, the basic standards of comfort and hygiene we take for granted just weren't there. So how do we square all this? On one hand, you have this exquisite beauty, this incredible art. On the other, a life of just brutal, relentless hardship. How do you put those two pictures together?
Well, the key takeaway is this. It wasn't a peaceful anime fantasy. It was survival mode, plain and simple. All that amazing art, philosophy, and culture that we admire so much, it wasn't created in a world of quiet contemplation. It was forged in a constant daily battle against nature, against society, and against the body itself. The beauty was the backdrop for survival.
So that leaves us with one final thought. When you really understand the immense hardship that people went through, does it change how you see the art they made? Does that delicate painting or perfectly written poem seem more tragic? Or does it become an even more powerful symbol of triumph, a testament to human resilience and creativity in the face of it all?